Today I'm going to show you how to make a 2D shooter in Unity. So the first thing I'm going to do is create my player. I'm going to right click, go to 2D object and click on sprite, and I'm going to select my player sprite. And since the background's white, I need to make this a different color so that we can see it. And I think it needs to be a little smaller. Now let's rename this to player, and I'm gonna set the ordering layer to 5, add a circle collider 2D, a rigid body 2D, and a new script called movement. I'm gonna press create and add and open this in Visual Studio. I'm gonna delete the start and update functions, and let's make a couple variables. Public float speed, private vector2 move, private vector2 mouse position, private float angle, and public transform gun. In the update function, I'm gonna type move equals new vector2 input get access horizontal, input get access vertical times speed, mouse position equals input mouse position, vector3 object position equals camera main world to screen point, transform position, mouse pause x minus equals object pause x, mouse pause y minus equals object pause y. And last, in the update function, angle equals mathf attend to mouse position y mouse position x times mathf radian to degree. Let's make a new function called fixed update, and in here type gun.rotation equals quaternion Euler new vector3 0 0 and angle transform.translate move times time delta time. And that's all the code we need to move the player. I'm going to click on the player, and I'm going to click on the player, and I'm going to set the speed to 5, and let's go into the rigid body 2D. I'm going to check all of these boxes, set the gravity scale to 0, the mass to 0, and for the gun, I'm going to have to create the gun. So I'm going to right click on the player, press create empty, and rename this to gun. And I'm going to right click on this, go to 2D object, and create a sprite that I'm going to select the gun sprite with. I'm also going to change the color to the same color as the player and move the sprite over a bit. I'm also going to rename this to gun sprite. So I'm going to drag in the from right here, and now if I press play, you can see the gun rotates with the player, and I can use the arrow keys or WASD to move. Next, we need to make the player shoot. I'm going to right click in the scene, go to 2D object and create a sprite, and I'm going to move this right onto the gun points, and I'm going to expand these lists right here and drag it onto gun sprite, and I'm going to call this gun shoot points. And now I can create the bullet. So I'm going to right click, go to 2D object and create a sprite, and I'm going to select this knob here, and I'm going to set the color to red maybe, or a grayish color, and I'm going to rename this to bullets and set the ordinate layer to 5. I'm going to add a circle collider 2D and a rigid body 2D. I'm going to set the gravity scale to 0 and leave the rest of these. Then I can drag it into the asset folder to create a prefab, and I can delete it from here. I'm going to double click on the movement script on the player and make a public game object. It's called bullets, and a public float shoot speed, and last a private boolean can shoot equals true. And in the update function, I'm going to type can shoot equals true just in case it isn't. Now let's create a public enumerator called shoot gun, and in here set can shoot to false, yield return new wait 4 seconds, shoot speed, and after that can shoot equals true, and right under can shoot equals false, let's shoot the bullet. So I'm going to type game object bullet created equals instantiate bullet, and up here I need to create a public transform called shoot point. So I'm going to type shoot point down here and shoot points dot rotation. Next, make a rigid body 2D bullets rigid body equals bullet created dot get component rigid body 2D. Then bullet rigid body dot add force, and I'm going to type shoot point dot right times bullet speed. Then destroy bullet created after bullet created after 5 seconds. So this is an error right here, so I'm going to go back up to the top and type public float bullet speed. In the update function, I'm going to type if input dot get mouse button down dot get if input dot get mouse button 0, so that's left click, then start coroutine shoot gun, and at the top and can shoot. So we can only shoot the bullets if it can shoot. So I'm going to save this script and go back to Unity, and for shoot speed I'm going to type 5.5. For shoot speed I'm going to type 5, and for shoot points I'm going to drag in gun shoot point. For bullet I'm going to drag in the bullet, and now I'm going to press play, and if I click, you can see the gun creates a bullet right there, and it's moving a little slow, so let me set this to 500, and you can see it shoots faster now. So I'm going to open the circle collider and set this to is trigger so the bullets don't collide with the player, and I'm gonna go into the bullets and set this to is trigger also. So let me make sure the speed is 500 and press play. So now I can shoot bullets and they won't run into me. Thanks for watching the tutorial, and I hope to see you next time.